He never said it directly. He couldn't. It would have been too cruel. Instead, he wrapped his shame in softer words. They were getting ready for a party, one of Daniel's many corporate gatherings, the kind with fake smiles, expensive wine, and people who pretend they don't notice differences while noticing absolutely everything. I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my dress. Simple, elegant. I'd chosen it carefully, knowing the crowd I was about to face. Daniel watched me from the bed, fixing his cufflinks. "You don't have to come tonight," he said, his voice casual. Too casual, I turned. "Why?" He hesitated for a second, but that second was long enough. "It's just my colleagues," he said. "They're very specific, about appearances, backgrounds, you know." A familiar tightness squeezed my chest. "What does that mean?" I asked calmly. Daniel sighed, as if I was making this difficult on purpose. "I'm saying you might not feel comfortable," he replied. "You don't really fit into my social circle." The room went silent. The air grew heavy. I looked at him, waiting for him to take it back, to soften the blow. Nothing. "Fit how?" I asked. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "It's not personal." That was it. That was the moment I knew. It was personal. It was always personal. I walked closer to him. "Say it," I said softly. "Say what you're actually thinking." He rubbed his face, frustrated. "Look, these people are elite. They notice things. Like my skin," I said. It wasn't a question. He didn't deny it. His silence was the loudest confession. I sank onto the edge of the bed, my mind racing back to the beginning. When Daniel first told me about his world of private schools and exclusive clubs, I thought our love was strong enough to bridge any gap. How wrong I was? "You married me," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "Not a version of me that you could hide." "I know," he replied quickly. "And I love you? This isn't about that." "Then what is it about?" He struggled for words. "I worked so hard to get where I am, I can't afford complications." Complications, that's what I was to him now. A liability. I stood up again, my spine a little straighter this time. "Do you have any idea how many rooms I walked into knowing I didn't fit?" I asked him. "How many times I had to soften myself so people like you and your friends wouldn't feel uncomfortable? How many times I pretended not to notice the looks, the whispers, the silences?" Daniel just shifted his weight, looking anywhere but at me. "I thought marriage meant I'd finally stop having to earn my space," I continued. "That I'd finally belong somewhere without conditions." He looked at me then, really looked. I didn't realize it was that deep," he said quietly. I gave a small, sad smile. "That's because you were never the one being measured." The party invitation sat on the dresser, its gold lettering mocking me, my name printed right beside his. I picked it up. "You know what hurts the most?" I said. "It's not that your friends might judge me." Daniel waited. "It's that you're doing it first, to protect them." The words landed between us like stones. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. I walked back to the mirror, calmly removed my earrings, and placed them on the dresser. "I'm not going," I said. He exhaled, a wave of relief washing over his face. "Thank you. I knew you'd understand." I turned sharply. "No," I said, my voice firm. "You misunderstood." The relief on his face vanished. "I'm not going because I refuse to shrink myself to protect your image. And I'm not staying silent anymore just so you can feel accepted." "You're making this bigger than it is," he argued. I met his eyes in the mirror. "No," I said calmly. "I'm finally seeing it for exactly what it is." I grabbed my bag. "Where are you going?" he asked, a hint of panic in his voice. "For a walk," I replied. "I need to breathe some air where I, Dante, have to justify my own existence." I stepped out into the night. The city was alive, messy, beautifully diverse. People of every kind passed by me, laughing, living, just being. For the first time in weeks, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. When I returned, the party invitation was untouched. Daniel was still there, his suit now wrinkled. "I didn't go," he said. I just nodded. "I realized something," he continued, his voice low. "If my circle can't accept my wife, then maybe it shouldn't be my circle anymore." I studied his face, searching for real change. "Understanding isn't enough," I told him. "Action is." "I know," he replied. "I don't want to build a life where you always being asked to step aside." I took a deep breath, then stopped calling my presence a risk. I said, and start calling it what it is, your choice. We stood there in the quiet, the space between us filled with uncertainty. Nothing was fixed. But for the first time, the real problem had a name. And sometimes, naming the truth is the first real act of courage, especially when love is on the line. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe for more.